Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Refined Storage, made easy. Looking down this way, you can see that there's a lot of weird things going on, and one might think that refined storage is very difficult to learn, when in fact, it's actually one of the most easy and helpful, as well as efficient, sorting, storage, and useful Minecraft mods out there. I found it extremely easy to get into and understand, and that's what I'm going to try and do today, is make it a little bit easier for you to as well. So we're going to start off by discussing some of the materials and also how to make a basic inventory system, one of 3 different kinds, for you to use to store and sort your items. Now, the materials involved may be a bit expensive. You will probably have had to have gone to the Nether because there's going to be a lot of quartz involved in this. But otherwise, you're going to need iron, quartz, in order to make quartz enriched iron. Redstone, gold, glowstone, and diamonds. Now, I also have some comparisons here. Now, for the purposes of this mod, you should know that you will need some kind of power or energy to be able to, well, power your system. There is no generators or anything that will actually generate any kind of power for the system included in this mod. So for the purposes of this, I have actually additions hooked up in this to power things, as well as a few creative items that may also lend themselves to make this a little easier. So if you look here, I currently have a couple other comparisons. A regular vanilla Minecraft chest, a single chest, not a double chest, is going to be able to store a maximum of 1,728 items, or 27 different items at maximum stacks. If you go into something like a small storage crate from Actually Editions, which is the lowest tier crate that there is, it will be able to store 6,336 maximum items, or 99 stacks, or 99 different items that are maxed out. As you can see, a small storage crate is anything but small, whereas a vanilla chest is very small indeed in comparison. But this is going to give you potential to infinitely expand that to great new heights, and even possibly use some of your old standard ways. Most people, as they start off, will end up making themselves a lot of vanilla chests and then upgrade into something a little bit more organized. This is organized incarnate. This is going to save you so much time and effort, as well as make it a little bit more interesting and fun in order to get into this. It is comparable to applied energistics, but personally I find it a lot easier and less tedious to get into, as well as relatively balanced. Now, in order to start in this, you'll first need to make a controller. Now, a controller recipe is made with some quartz enriched iron, silicon, machine casing, and diamonds. So you will have had to have at least obtained a diamond in order to start this, as well as quartz. Because if you look at quartz enriched iron, that's simply crafted with 3 iron and gets in 1 piece of nether quartz, will get you 4 quartz enriched iron, which of course you can also craft into blocks if you so desire. And you'll also need silicon. Silicon, one might think, well, where do I get that from? Silicon is simply made by putting in a furnace a bit of nether quartz, and you will get yourself some silicon. It's very basic stuff. So I had to have gone to the nether, farmed up a whole bunch of quartz. I recommend getting a whole lot of it. And then you'll probably be pretty set to go. Now, once you've made yourself a controller, that is going to be the base. This is the thing that you will start with in anything. All of refined storage more or less will need to have this to start with. So you're going to need to get one of these. Alone, it won't do anything. But with other parts, you might be able to do something else. Now, this item itself will need to be powered at some point. And in order to power it, you'll need, as I said, an outside source. Now, I have right here a hopper hooked up with a bunch of coal going into a generator. Let's turn that on. Coal goes in. It starts powering things up. And you can see the power will start going up on the controller. As you can see here, it is pulsing red when it's at low power. Once it starts getting to a much higher rate, it will then start pulsating a bright green, or blue, I almost said green, as you see here. And when it's in the lower energy state, you might also experience some difficulties while using it. So I do recommend that you power it up fully before you actually start attaching things to it. Now, this item is actually very smart, as is most of the blocks in refined storage. You simply need to place them next to it, and they will start sharing information and power sources. So if you're powering the controller will power other adjacent blocks to it, like a solderer. with a solderer. This is a combination of a crafting table and a furnace. It will take multiple items and smelt them together to create something else. In this case, we have these. Now I'm going to be showing you a little bit about what's going on here. So you remember silicon, right? Which is just nether quartz smelted up in a furnace. If you take this and put it in a solderer that is being powered by a by a controller that is powered. In this case, I've got a creative one just to save myself some space. If you take this, put it in there, you will get over time a piece of printed silicon, which is used basically to make other parts like this. You've got a basic processor and an improved processor and an advanced processor, etc. So you can make more and more advanced parts and pieces. So this is just one part of a puzzle. The printed silicon itself isn't going to be doing anything. So allow me to grab one of these, put it in here, and you can start seeing it will start smelting into the silicon the printed silicon I was talking about. There you go. And you've got some spots on the side here that you can upgrade it. You also have a redstone mode that you can turn on or off, have it ignore and so on. Nothing really too fantastic there. But these are the basic building blocks of a lot of other things. If you take iron, gold, or diamonds and put them in one of these here, you will then make the respective printed advanced silicon or printed advanced processor, a printed improved processor, or a printed basic processor, and then take those in with this here, a printed silicon, combine them in this, and you will get yourself a display stand as such. So actually here, let me grab one of these, a bit of redstone, and one of these printed silicons will make yourself, over time, an improved processor, as an example. So start off with that, move into this, move into those. It's just a 3-step process. It's a little bit of a time sink in order to make this. It's nothing really fancy. You don't have to have more than one solderer. You can make multiples, though, in order to save yourself a lot of time and effort, because a lot of refined storage is going to require a lot of different parts and pieces. As you can see here, the different things will require different parts, different things, and so on in order to make them. So I recommend holding off making them per se until you actually need them, but it could take you some time, and that's why I'm making a lot of solderers, which the recipe for that is 6 quartz enriched iron and 2 sticky pistons each. Can save you some time. But also, something else that can save you some time is going to be speed upgrades. You put these, which are made with sugar, redstone, and an upgrade, basically, frame, which is made from quartz enriched iron, some glass, and an improved processor. So you had to have used a solderer without any speed upgrades at first. And then once you add these in, if you power it, it will then increase the speed quite a bit. You know, I think it's like double and triple speed, something like that. So let's say that these are not connected, as you see here. If they were right next to each other, they start getting power. I'm going to break that before it actually finishes because there's something else I want to show you, and that is a cable. Cable is made simply with more quartz enriched iron. See, I'm telling you, lots of materials are involved in this, but the end is a wonderful payoff. A couple glass, and it'll get you 12 cable, which is going to be very useful because you usually don't need too much in order to get your entire inventory system up and running. Now, if I were to put this down between them, it will then connect the power and it will continue on. And you can see how much faster this is with these couple speed upgrades. Of course, you can have a maximum of 4, and different machines will have different upgrades available inside here. So that is the basics of how to start making some of the parts to therefore start crafting everything else in refined storage. So there are 3 different types of storage solutions that I'm going to discuss with you. But before I do, I feel I should mention one little item, and that is going to be this here, the wrench. The wrench is kind of useful, kind of not. You can get through the entire mod of refined storage and never actually needing it. How it works is it's got 3 different modes. It has your rotation, your configuration, and your dismantling mode. Now, I'm just right-clicking. Even while looking at a block, I can right-click, and it's going to do this. It won't actually modify anything. So right now I'm on rotation mode. If I right-click, while looking at the block, but holding Shift down, it will then rotate the block because it's in rotation mode, therefore allowing me to rotate blocks that may otherwise not normally be rotated. You can see that, it will allow you to change the facing of blocks if you so desire. Very simple. Now, if I just right-click it again, configuration, if I have a block that has some kind of settings that I've already got set up in there, I can just click on this as I would of this rotation block before, and it would save the setting. I can click on another similar block and it will put that setting in there. Another mode that I have is going to be dismantling. Now, if I want, I can use this on certain blocks to pick them up just by, basically shift right clicking. There we go. I just used that on the cable here, which simple enough, right? It's a useful tool, but one that is not required for this mod. Now, getting into the different types of storage, you have 3 types. Your basic entry-level ones are going to be that of storage blocks or external storage. A storage block is basically a chest, if you think of it that way, because you can connect multiples of these in the world. If I grab some of these, I can actually start placing several of them, and each of these 1K storage blocks will hold 1,000 different items or same items. It doesn't matter. It will hold 1,000 items regardless of the type or quantity. So it can be very beneficial that way, because if you have a couple of these, it's the equivalent of more than one vanilla chest. So you can see here the space difference, not really that good, but the recipes on these, a basic processor, a machine casing, and a 1K storage part, which is going to be lots of silicon, redstone, glass, and quartz. So a 1K storage block might get you by temporarily, but I recommend you go for higher storage if you're going to, because already vanilla chests are going to store better in a smaller space and be a lot cheaper, of course, unless wood is something difficult to come by. Now, your storage blocks can come in 1K, 4K, 16K, and 64K, and that's the total number of parts, pieces, everything, any number of different kinds. Now, I have a grid here that is currently set to redstone mode, only work with redstone signal, so I have to actually turn this lever on. It will then start powering, and I've got a whole bunch of things in here that you can see now, so it can be quite useful. I just shift-clicked that in there, and it is good to go. Now, with that, we're going to want to also make a grid. I will get to the external storage shortly, but before we do, a grid is going to be used of some sort. There are many types of grids in most applications. Now, a grid is just going to allow you to access your inventory, just like you're opening this chest, but it also works for any attached chests. So if I have all these filled with all sorts of stuff, it's going to have all of them filled up so that you can actually view all of them at once. So it can be really, really nice if you've got this massive storage block going on to just have one interface and all of it's in here sorted. You can scroll up and down. You've got your, as I showed you before, your redstone mode. You've got your display, which you can change to include craftables, which we'll get into some point in the future. Sorting direction, you can change how it's ascending or descending. The sorting type, name, the ID, the quantity values, the search box mode, you can change that so that it will be auto-selected JEI synchronized, so you can type both up here and down here at the same time. You can also change it so it's auto-selected up here, so that when you start, when you enter into this screen, you start typing at the top already instead of down here, or only one of the two. And if they're synchronized and auto-selected, then it's much easier to do so. Now, you notice everything in here disappeared because I don't have anything with the letters EF, EF, EF in there. Now, if I type D, 2 items have the letter D in it, so that would be one way of easily finding things. If I'm looking for a diamond wand, there you go, diamond wand, easy enough to find. And of course, you've got your size differences. You've got your small, your medium, large, and stretch will adjust to your screen size according to what you have displaying. I highly recommend you just choose size so that it will adjust no matter what you have attached to it at the time. Now, of course, a grid is no cheap thing to make. A bunch of glass, a machine casing, quartz enriched iron, which we already know that machine casing is a lot more quartz enriched iron, plus 2 improved processors, a construction core and a destruction core. Now, improved processors we saw over here. It's basically some gold, some quartz, and a bunch of smelting up. But when it comes to the destruction core and the construction core, it involves both using the solder and a crafting grid. You make a basic processor and glowstone for one, and you make a basic processor and nether quartz for the other. And this is just a regular crafting sequence. Therefore, you'll get yourself a grid. And once again, you can put things in, you can take things out. If you want to, you can just left click will take a whole stack, right click will take a half stack, and middle click will take a single item. So that is going to be something you might actually find very useful, because often people only want one item. Now, if you want like 5, you just click the middle 5 times. Okay, so we've gone over some storage blocks here. Now let's go over the next way of storing something, and that's external storage. If you have something better than vanilla storage options like chests, if you're, for instance, going with actually additions crates, they can store quite a bit in a 1-block space. And if you're already using them, you might want to consider just making some external storage connections. Now these here are made with construction cores, destruction cores, a few quartz enriched iron, and a couple of chests, any kind of chests in there, plus a cable and an improved processor. It's not too bad, considering that if you want the similar type of storage, this one is 6 1/3 thousand. There isn't actually a 6000K block, but if I go with, let's see, this one here is a 1K. Let's grab a 4K. Let's say that we're going to make a couple of 4Ks to try and rival one of those crates. It's a basic processor, machine casing, and 4K storage part, which is made with 4 more basic processors, redstone and quartz, plus 3 of the 1K storage parts, which is 4 more silicon, quartz, redstone, and a bunch of glass. It's a lot of smelting up. This is just a much simpler part. But if you're comparing it to vanilla chests, the storage space is going to be used up a lot more. And once again, if you just place this next to it, for instance, I just shift right click so I don't actually open the chest, but if I shift right click, it will connect to something. Shift right click on the ground, or I can just right click on the ground and it will actually connect to something. If I click on this, it's not going to work, because you want the flat part to be reading your external inventory, like so. So these crates here are being read. Now, right now, this external storage part is showing 2 hoppers, a wrench, a solderer, and a disk drive. If I open this up, you can see that's where all the items are in this large chest. Pretty darn neat. And all you got to do is just hook it up there. Now, the external storage, as I showed the recipe there, can also be hooked up together with other ones. So I've got these 3 back here with a controller in one, a disk manipulator in another, and a chest in the third one. So all you need to do is connect them up to make a network. There you go. And now all that stuff is in there. So all of these chests are currently part of the grid. I can take them in, put them out, but it's going to just put them in and out in the most convenient box at the time. So it may, as you can see here, the solder is now in here. It's no longer at the bottom of the screen, and it's going to go up there. So it's going to go into the closest inventory first, probably fill it up most likely, unless you filter these. Now, if I right click on an external storage, you actually have a way of filtering things, which can be quite nice. A filter is made simply with some quartz enriched iron, of course, paper, and a hopper. A filter can be, set by right-clicking in the air. It opens it up and says, what items do you want to filter in and out? So you can actually tell it which items to filter into inventories. Now, in this case, I have a blacklist storage box. If you see here, I'm removing this filter. It is a blacklist for 16K storage blocks, excuse me. You can actually set it for damage, MBT, or dictionary, a mod filter. So if you just don't want a specific mod being displayed, or you only want a certain mod being displayed, you can do that. You can choose blacklist or whitelist. In this case, it is blacklist. And once I put that up here, you'll see that that one block, the 16K storage block, disappears. Though it is in storage, it is actually not being displayed as part of that filter. Now this over here, with my whitelist for the 4K storage block, I put that on here. You can see that there is no 4K storage block in there. Let's look in here. There's none displayed there. Put that in place. It's going to show that, and even if I remove this, it's still going to show that, because it's not actually blacklisting it in any way. So if I do this, blacklist that, put this on here, it will actually not put 4K storage blocks in this chest at this point, even if I change the priority. Now priority, the higher the number, the higher the priority. It'll go to that larger number first. So if I put this at priority 10, whatever I put in this system will go into this box, and it should go in here. And currently, I forgot, this is at a mode whitelist. So let's change this to a blacklist, take this back out, put this in here. There we go. And it is now in the system, but it did not go to the chest even though it's got higher priority because it currently also has a blacklist setting for this 4K storage block, which I kind of messed up there, but you get the basic idea. You can also set this to ignore redstone signals, the different types. You can you can compare damage, MBTs, or dictionaries access. You can get really deep into the details, but we're not going to be doing that too much. I just wanted to let you know that you can filter it, you can adjust the settings on your grid, and you can also make yourself an external storage. Now we're going to get into the more practical and a little bit more, probably the most expensive to make of the three options, but probably also the best. As you can see here, it's just a few blocks. It's not this big mess of a whole bunch of crates. It's not a whole bunch of storage blocks taking up space. It is just a disk drive. Now, the disk drive is really, really good because of many things. One, disk drive is relatively cheap. Quartz enriched iron, machine casing, advanced processor, and a chest of some sort. We'll make just the disk drive. Now that's not the only way that you want to go though. If I right click on here, you have disks. There are storage disks that you'll have to make. If I look up here, disk, you've got your different ones. You've got 16, you've got 1K, 4K, 16, and 64. Plus, of course, that's a creative one. Just ignore that. But you have these, and it shows you how much it's full of. So if I click on here and I start putting a whole bunch of, let's say, cobblestone in here, just click a bunch of this in here, and then I take a look, you can see that 7% is now full. Pretty cool stuff. Now you're thinking, all right, well, where's the downside on this? It's the crafting of the storage disks as well, because each of those are similar to those blocks down there in their crafting recipes. So let's take a look at a 1K storage disk. That's going to be a 1K storage part and a storage housing, which storage housing is going to be required for all of the disks, which is quartz enriched iron, some redstone, and some glass. But the 1K storage part is going to be a bunch of silicon, redstone, glass, quartz enriched iron, of course. So as you go up levels, a 4K part requires a storage housing as before, plus a 4K storage part, which as before consists of a bunch of 1K storage parts. So as you get up, they require more and more of the smaller parts and so on. You can set a priority for this disk drive. You can have multiple disk drives hooked up. So you can have 8 different disks stored in here. And you can actually port them over into larger disks later on, which I might get into. But for now, just know that this is practical for many other reasons. One, if you want to move your stuff over here, you would pretty much have to take the storage blocks with you or find some way of moving the chests with some kind of chest movement device. In this case, you take the disks and you walk away. That's it. It's very simple, very easy to move. I also did a little bit of testing. And unless you have some way of reinforcing your regular chests, then explosions, let's just say by creepers, will destroy storage blocks and things of that nature. They will destroy crates and chests in Minecraft in most cases, unless there were some kind of reinforced nature. But a disk drive will also be destroyed, but typically it's got a very good chance that the storage disks will survive the explosion, though they could always get burned up in fire, just like any of the other items if they were destroyed as well. So you've got some advantages on this one. It saves a lot of space. It's got a lot of storage in a single block. And the recipes are, while slightly more expensive than the rest, can also be much more practical in the end. And there you have it, an entry-level way into making your first storage system in Refined Storage. I will be continuing with this series on basically how you can start getting into crafting, automation, security, wireless, all sorts of wonderful, wonderful features that this mod, which is very simple in the end to use, can benefit you. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, and as always, spread the mischief to others. I think they'll enjoy this content too. Until next time, folks, I'll see ya.